I'm all
You said, I'll
flushed
mute
out.
before I cough.
It's fine. I weren't fucking. Listen, I weren't even
Right in my fucking
recording.
ear, bro. Right in
I
my
weren't
ear.
recording. Chill out. I am
Well,
now,
I can
though.
still fucking hear
This
it.
is it. That's the intro to the podcast. Is you complaining? Welcome back. Here we
Well,
go. Number 2. We've got. What was the number that I said that we had to reach? Do you remember?
no. Like, what, 13?
No, it was
15?
like 20 something.
Shit, that's hard. Yeah, we might not get there.
Like the average podcasting length is like 22, I think. That's where they get
Well,
up to, and then they peter off. They either stop or they sort of begin to dwindle.
20 left to go before you guys don't hear from us again.
Yeah, we're just lost to the wind. Oh,
Heck
some
yeah.
studies show that listeners typically listen to between 1 and 5 podcasts per week.
Oh, wow.
We gotta rank. We gotta level up the production rate. We gotta up it. Up it, Ryan.
Yeah,
Up it.
we have to release 5 episodes per week or we're gonna lose our audience.
That's that's what that's what we're gonna do from now on. Come wind, come rain or what is the saying? Come sun or what? What am I?
Rain or shine.
That's the one. I was gonna say come
Oh,
win
wind
or
and
wind
rain.
or run.
You sound like you sound like Storm.
Behold the power of the goddess of running and winding. God. Okay, so last episode we had some very in-depth conversations about A24 films. We had a recap of your reading order and where you are. We're not going to be doing any comic book
Hmm.
stuff this week. We've got two.
Yeah, because I haven't read any comic books this
Yeah,
week at all.
neither have I, to be honest with you. I've read a
So
couple, but not much. Not enough to warrant chatting about it. Uh,
yeah, definitely not.
there's not really like in a couple of weeks we've got Ironheart coming out. I'm sure that we'll have a good old
Oh my
yap
god,
about that. We've
I can't.
got the Fantastic Four teaser trailer came out, but it's like there's nothing exciting really is happening in the world of like Marvel film, I guess. Or well, I was gonna say or DC film. There's quite a bit happening in DC film, but we're Marvel shills, so we can't talk about it.
Not yet.
Once you mention
Once DC
Marvel,
cases on.
you can't mention DC. That's the rule. That's the rule. Until we buy the app and then we just yap about it consistently.
Yeah. Once we can actually like afford to read the comic books,
Yeah,
that'll
yeah.
be.
What you mean once I can afford to to
Yeah,
read
yeah.
the
Once I
comic
can
book?
mooch off you and you can afford it, and then
Yeah.
you give me the password, then I can do whatever I want.
Which is totally not what we do if by any chance anybody even vaguely related to the production of the app is stumbling upon podcast
I have never shared a
videos.
password in my life. I don't even know what they're talking about.
Can you imagine that someone vaguely related to
I
it
have
actually
never.
listens and they're like, "Oh shit, we never considered people could do that."
It's the only listener we get, and they shut us down.
Yeah.
They're like,
Shit.
actually, you're not allowed access to comic books anymore. Your whole podcast is dead.
So you you have been
I did.
you have you've been watching The Walking Dead.
Uh-huh.
So
I've been watching a lot of The Walking Dead.
we recapped last time. I think you spoke about season 1 and season 2 and
Yeah.
you were like either on season 3 or you were starting season 3. I can't really remember. But a lot has happened since then. Where are you up
Heck
to
yeah, it
now?
has.
Let's go
Season
through.
5.5.
Oh fucking hell.
I've done a lot.
Oh
I've
my
done a lot.
god. You've
Yeah.
completely blasted your way through the Terminus stuff. Oh, there's so much to
Yeah, that
go
shit was
over.
nuts.
Okay, so
Nuts.
starting off with like what did you think of the first half of like season 4 with the illnesses, the introduction of Bob and a couple of other people,
Dude,
the
okay.
psycho
I hated
kids.
Bob. I hated Bob for a minute. It was kind of fucked up. Okay. So the first episode of season 4, they go to that supply place, and there's that kid Zach that is still alive, but he's not at the end of the episode. I knew that actor from Dinner in America, actually, so I thought he was gonna be way more important. So he's like seared in my brain,
Yeah.
but he lasted one singular episode and then he was gone forever. So I I still remember him, even though it's been a while for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I hated Bob because of the alcoholism stuff. I'm sorry if you're an alcoholic. I sympathize with you, but he was a dick.
Just hit him with it.
I'm
Hit him
just
with it.
saying,
Fuck
man.
you, alcoholics. Fuck
It
you.
was okay. I will say he did get a little bit confused because the reason that Zach died was because he put the alcohol back on the shelf. And honestly, I would think that that means I should drink too. Because if he had just taken the bottle, none of that would have happened.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you win and you lose some. I kind of get that aspect of it, but then they were like, then all the sickness happened. You know, everybody was really sick, and they had to go on that
Yeah,
run
COVID hit.
to the veterinary. Yeah, COVID hit in the Walking Dead universe finally.
And then your
Um,
favourite character came back, didn't he? The old governor.
oh my God, the governor. Yeah, he came back with a whole new group of people he was brainwashing. That, yeah, his him coming in with the tank
Where
scared
did
the
he?
shit out of
Where does
me.
he get the tank from?
The group that he's with, like some of them were ex-military.
Okay,
That one dude, the dude in the tank, the
the dickhead.
him and this other guy were brothers, and then the brother got killed by the governor because he was too nice, and the governor's like, we can't be nice to people, we need everything for ourselves.
Okay,
Um, and so that guy who is a dickhead, you're right. He
hate that guy.
decides to join the governor, and he was the one with the tank because he said that he was in the tank. He just kept nothing could hurt him in the tank
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they couldn't
Until
get through.
Daryl Dixon comes along,
Yeah, and
fucks
fucking
him
throws
up.
a grenade in that bitch. Oh, he's
So
so badass.
I did specifically go through and I rewatched the mid-season finale, and I didn't expect you to get to the Terminus stuff, but I watched the first episode of season 5, like in anticipation for you hitting it. I just didn't
Yeah,
expect you to fucking binge watch so much of it so quick. Um,
it's what I put on now, so it just goes
so yeah,
forever.
the mid-season finale. How do you feel, old Herschel?
Oh my God. Yeah, that got to me. I won't lie, I cried. I cry
Yeah,
every
that's a
time
rough
somebody
one.
dies. I won't lie. Actually, there was one person who died that I didn't care about, but I can't remember right off the top of my head. Uh,
You might as we get through it, because there's somebody that
oh my
dies
God,
that I could not
did
give less of a
wait.
shit about.
They had just gotten to the prison the last time we talked about this. So, yeah, that was after Lori died. And dude, okay, but yeah. So they lose the prison because of the governor. He's a piece of shit and he dies too. So that's awesome. I'm glad that that happened.
Hmm.
And he got killed by fucking oh my God, that girl whose daughter he got
Oh yeah, yeah,
killed
yeah.
because
The
he bumped into that
fucking
spot.
yeah, where
That
she's
was
sat in the
crazy when she
mud and she
showed
gets
up.
fucked up, and then yeah, she's like carrying
Yeah.
a bridal style like in her arms, and he just fucking blasts her in
Yeah.
the head.
Yeah, that was insane. So and then she blasts him in the head, and so he's dead forever.
And you get that fucking shot of the little chess piece with the eye patch on it getting like trod into the mud.
Yeah.
It's such like one of those corny cinematic like shots, but it's also like it's a cool kind of corny.
I was glad that I was glad that he was gone.
Old
So
Glenn's very sick on the bus, shipped off.
no, he didn't get shipped off.
He was on the bus, was he not?
No, he got left behind. And then he goes and he finds that other girl that was with the governor that was the sister of
Oh, of
the girl that he
course.
liked, the
Yeah,
lesbian. He met
Tara.
a lesbian.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Tara.
They exist in The Walking Dead. Can you
Does he
believe
not
it?
have
It's not just
like?
pretend.
Does he not have like riot gear on him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
remember now because
And then
Maggie
they
and Sasha are looking for the bus, but then they find it and he's not on it.
yeah, because they're all dead.
Yeah, I fucking
Yeah.
remember. What a
I
way to
thought it
kill
was
off all
crazy
those
because
characters.
I know I was like, it's good to know that they were all fucking just cannon fodder.
Yeah.
We don't need to know about them. We barely saw them the whole time, and now they're all dead. So
that the
We know
show
who the
does
main characters
have
are.
the show has a habit of like it's I wouldn't say it's a spoiler because it happens at Terminus as well, but introducing like these large communities that get fucked up on like a mass scale pretty quick. Um,
That's true.
but yeah, the back end of season 4 is, I think I mentioned it to you last time. It's quite controversial because like you're seeing the same kind of timeline from different perspectives and stuff.
Yeah.
So like you're seeing them all travel down the train tracks and like some people are getting to the same location at different times.
Hmm.
And I think a
I
lot
didn't.
of people felt like it was filler.
Yeah. I could see why. I personally I like filler. I think that it's important for the characters to go through like regular shit for a little while
Yeah.
for like development and to like I don't know, interact with each other in a way that's not just we're all dying all the time. So I enjoy that a little bit. It also is helpful for the audience in my personal opinion because like just just straight depressing shit one after the other that gets really like boring, but I can understand like when I put myself into the shoes somebody who had to watch the show coming out episode after episode and they're
Yeah.
not allowed to like binge it outright. That can be a little bit frustrating, especially if the episode's not on characters that you really give a fuck about.
Yeah, the weekly
So
release for certain shows is like a fucking it can kill so many shows off if it's not paced
yeah,
right.
so I have to put myself in those shoes a lot where I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, I don't know if I would continue watching this if I had to wait for it because I want to watch it now.
So I think like during that as well, we got a lot of interesting character combinations that you wouldn't have really seen otherwise. Like you never, up until that point, there's not too much interaction between Rick and Michonne, and obviously they get paired up with Carl, and you get
That
to
made sense
see,
to me though.
well, you get to
Because
see like Beth with Daryl, which is like a pairing that you wouldn't have really guessed, and like Carol
no,
comes
I don't
back
want to
and
watch that.
I knew you weren't gonna like that
Oh my god,
episode.
Carol and Tyrese, their that shit that they went through, they were probably the most like I don't know. They were the ones I was feeling the most
I
because with all the kids with them.
no, you hold up a second because you were like, "Oh, I don't know how like," because I said you're gonna like Carol when she comes back, and you were like, "I don't know
Well,
how after she's done this."
well, okay. I still think she's a fucking insane human being, and she fucking killed two children. Okay, let's not put
Okay, but one
that's
not bit.
probably her fault.
Was
Okay, no,
I thought
no,
one of them got bit? No.
no. The one girl was fucking insane and loved zombies,
Yeah, well that one
and
had
so
to
she
go.
kills her sister to become to make her become a zombie. She's like, we can all become zombies, and then so she gets shot in the head too. Okay, so this little insane bitch. She's just a kid though, right? So we can't be that mad at her. We can look to the person who trained her to kill, but also fucked with her head, aka Carol.
Yeah, but
So
Carol
she's
was
got
also
this weird.
training the rest of the kids in the process that like
Yeah, well,
weren't
all the rest of those kids are
psychopaths.
dead, and then the other little girl was fucked up too. They were all fucked up. Okay, they're in a terrible situation. I get that, but still,
I don't think all of the blame is on Carol, but I do get where
I
you're
think a
coming
lot of it
from.
is. I
I
think
do
a lot of the
understand.
blame is on Carol.
That
Okay.
episode is a really great episode, and I was waiting for you to get to it
Ooh,
because when you look
that was
at like Carol's character when she's in season 2 looking for her daughter and like she's so
hard.
hyper focused on protecting kids and now it's come full circle she's now got to put a kid down. And I just
I don't
I
know.
it's wild to me like
Yeah,
the just the way her
parallel.
story, yeah, the way her story unfolds and flips around on itself.
I mean,
um
yeah, she really was crazy with those kids though. Like she was a right bitch to them.
and hey, they rescued Judith.
Yeah, Tyrese is a fucking. The whole time I was like, where the fuck is Judith? Is Judith dead? Where is Judith? And then Tyrese shows up, got Judith. Hell yeah.
do
I love
you
Tyrese. I love Tyrese so fucking much.
do you know anything about the comics at all? So when the governor storms the prison in the comics, he like machine gun mows down Laurie and
Oh my
Judith.
god.
They both die.
Oh wow.
So this is like completely. I mean, the show. It's not unusual for the show to divert away from the comics. It's not anything really like the comics at all.
Right.
Like in the comics, Andrea and Rick get together.
Oh, interesting.
And like I said to you
I would
before,
not have
like Daryl's
asked for
a
that.
Daryl's a completely original character and shit. So, but like I don't know, it's wild to me that they kept Judith alive. But I think I don't know if it would have been too dark for them to kill off a kid. I don't
Dude,
know.
that would have been fucked up. They've been killing off kids the whole
I mean, a
time.
baby though, like a baby.
It would have definitely messed with the whole group. I don't know if they could have kept going after losing Judith right then, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I did enjoy Beth and Daryl. That was cute, but it didn't really have a lot of well, I mean, I guess it got motion after. That shit. Oh my god. Okay. So many people have died. Let's just get that out of the way. Fucking Herschel's dead. Fucking Tyrese is dead now. Bob's dead. Bob died in a horrible way.
Oh, but he
And
got such an iconic moment though. That is from the
oh my god,
comics. The
dude,
tainted meat
I
is cool.
was so I was laughing hysterically. I knew that he was bit when he was taken. I mean, I didn't know obviously, but I had suspected that he was bit. So that whole time I was just waiting for it. But also them like, okay, we didn't even talk about the cannibals.
Well, we were
We just
building.
completely skipped
No,
Terminus.
no, we were building towards it. I was still on seat.
I
You
know.
skipped.
My brain is like all over the place because I
Okay,
keep thinking
let's.
about everyone who's
We're
dead.
gonna revert
And it's
back a bit.
terrible.
Okay, wait a second. So they're all separated, right? And then they eventually
Yeah.
link up. You like Maggie meets with Glenn. They're all following the same signs to go to Terminus, and then you
And they
finally.
also Glenn and the girl meet these army people who are supposedly trying to
Oh,
go
of
to fucking
course,
Washington D.C.
Eugene.
and fucking Eugene. Trust me, I know all about Eugene. Anyway, they're apparently going on this super important mission to Washington D.C. to go save the world.
Can I
And
just
thank fucking
wait a
God that Glenn
second?
didn't believe them
Wait a
because I knew
second.
from the get-go that that was a fucking lie. Okay, I knew from the
Wait.
beginning that he was bullshitting.
Okay, wait. What if I said to you that there's gonna be a moment where you
Oh
really
my God.
like Eugene?
I do like Eugene. Okay, I already like Eugene.
Really?
I
Because
just
I
he's a
hated
liar.
him when we found out
He
he
is a
was
liar.
lying.
Okay. At the beginning, I didn't like him. I knew he was lying the whole time. I'm sorry. I could tell, and that's such bullshit. Oh, we're going to save the world. Yeah, this show has 11 seasons. I'm sure you're gonna go save the world. Whatever. Sorry that I'm watching this years after I'm supposed to, but I could kind of deduce the fact that that wasn't happening. I didn't like him at first because he was a little bitch, and I don't
Yeah,
like little bitch
squealing
characters in
and
situations like
running
this
past
because it's
zombies
like,
and shit.
listen, you have to at least protect yourself because you can't just expect everyone else to protect you. That's ridiculous. So that's why I didn't like him at first, and then slowly he starts getting a little bit better at like at least using his smarts to try to help when the zombies come, you know? Like with
Yeah.
the fucking they found the fire truck and he sprays them all down and they get fucking
Mhm.
torn apart. Like that's smart. Let's do more of that. I liked that aspect when he started doing that stuff. That was nicer. That's
His
when I started
character
liking
is
Eugene.
definitely like throughout the portions that he's in the show, he's definitely an
Yeah.
interesting character that you don't really know. There's moments where you're like, "Oh, you're such a fucking piece of shit," but then he does something else, and you're like, it keeps bouncing back and forth with him a lot.
Yeah.
He's an
Yeah.
interesting character. But you've got like the reveal at the end of no, because the fucking they meet the not the Ravagers. I don't think that's their name. They're in a
So
different season.
Ravagers.
That's a different group, but they're very similar. They're like the Hunters or something, led by the old guy.
Oh yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
Maroney
that's
from the Penguin?
um
God,
I don't know.
I'm gonna
I didn't
quickly Google
recognize
it.
him.
What do you remember? What his
Yeah,
character's
that's
name is?
that's after no, because that's Daryl and Beth are together, and then they get separated at the funeral home, and then Daryl is trying to chase after her but loses her, and then he finds those people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then they encounter Rick, don't they?
Yeah, because Rick encountered them at the house before that him,
Yeah, and he
Carl, and
fucked them
Michonne
up.
were at, and he fucked them. Well, no, he didn't though.
He fucked
Did
one
he?
of them up.
No, that one got killed by the other guy.
I thought he strangles one, no?
No, he gets
Oh.
strangled by his friend. Like they start arguing over the bed, and so the other
Oh,
guy gets up and
he
strangles
looks
him to
under the
death and
bed,
leaves
doesn't
him
he?
there.
While he's strangling, he
Yeah.
sees it. Oh, yeah,
Yup.
yeah, 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 yeah. I
Yup. And then they
remember.
blame him because he turns into a zombie. I guess they saw him running away, so they just were like, "Oh, it's him." I think it was the dude who lied because when Daryl was with them, this guy was lying about like the rabbit or whatever, but they said that he lied about other things before. I
Oh,
think it was
yeah.
that guy that killed him and lied about it, and that's why they were after Rick in the first place. But
Yeah.
they were also insane. And that one guy tried to rape Carl. So they all
Oh,
deserve to die.
shit, yeah.
Yeah, that poor
That
kid. Oh my
fucking
god.
that showdown in the middle of the road is so good. Like when Rick like rips his fucking does he rip his throat out with his teeth?
Yeah, yeah, he bites him.
Oh, that's like the fucking that was like the most badass moment up like out of everything that Rick had done. Oh, they're called the
Yeah,
Claimers because they claim shit. Okay,
yeah.
I fucking remember.
Claimed,
Yeah.
claimed.
Um. Okay, it's not the Maroney guy, but it does look a lot like him. To be fair, in my defense.
Hmm.
Uh.
Okay.
So
I'm glad we got that out of the way.
they get to Terminus. Did you clock at
Eventually.
the time, like when there's the whole, well, welcome to Terminus, come on in, and you get the view of them, and then the season ends. At that point, like, I remember when it had come out, and we were all watching it together and shit, and everyone was like, wait, that dude's wearing Glenn's poncho, and that one's got, Maggie's whatever. Did you clock any
Yeah,
of that at the time?
yeah. I did
Okay.
it. I did immediately. I yeah. Especially them not being anywhere when they showed up. I knew that they had shown up first.
Yeah.
Like even with the timelines being weird, like I knew that they had shown up first. So yeah, as soon as they started showing like the people and they had all their clothes that the other people showed, at first I was like, okay, is it bartering? And I was like, oh no, they fucking took it.
Yeah. So then,
But yeah,
what did you think of the whole Terminus arc and Carol and just that whole Robin
Carol's
Lord Taylor
bad.
came back and got beat round the back of the head?
I just I did I that was funny that he did come back because I was not expecting to see him again. And I really think that it was just a way for them to get Rick's watch back.
Yeah,
To have a reason for him to get his watch back.
pretty much.
But yeah, that was funny. And then yeah,
Carol
I
taking
don't
the
know.
entire place down.
That was she's a badass, I'm not gonna lie. She
Yeah.
fucked him up.
I
I
like kind of like the lore around that group. I wish that we'd got like a little bit more time with them. I think it's interesting that like the group that
yeah,
are
they were
currently there like got turned on initially, and then as a
yeah.
result that's how they kind of became cannibals and realized, okay, we've got to fucking look after ourselves because we got fucked up.
I definitely yeah. That was crazy. Because it was because they just showed you that scene of them in the dark in the containment
Yeah.
thing, the containment box. So I didn't know what was going on. I thought that was just like another group of people. So when it does progress and you realize that they were cannibalized first and then took it back and then decided to start cannibalizing other people. I just think that's nuts. Like that leap of logic in my mind, obviously crazy,
Yeah.
but it is like an interesting story to tell because like he was like we weren't always this way. We didn't want to be, but whatever. You still ate people.
Then we
So
have when they escape, we've got Father Gabriel. Do you like Father
oh
Gabriel?
no, I don't fucking like Father
He's
Gabriel.
he's one of my favorite characters.
Dude, it
There's
was so funny. It was so funny when they were in the forest. Sorry to cut you off, but
no,
when they
it's
were in
fine.
the forest and he's meeting all of them for the first time, and he's like looks at all of them and he sees Judith and he goes, "Oh, a baby or whatever," and everybody like steps forward. I was like, that is not something a preacher wants to say. Okay, don't mention the baby because now you look weird.
Yeah, everyone got like really apprehensive around him.
Bro, I would too. That's just not like you're a preacher, bro. You
There's
don't need to be saying shit
honestly
like that.
like there's so many. There's one particular moment that always stands out with me with him, and I cannot wait until you get to it. I don't think it's until like season 6 or 7, which is a mild spoiler that he sticks around for a while. Okay, but
Yeah.
like there's oh my god, there's quite a few funny moments with him, um, and I don't know, I can't wait for you like the character development. I said it was like with Carol. Some of the character development for
And
this show is
Merle.
brilliant. Oh yeah, and with Merle.
Which
But yeah,
oh, that's the one I wasn't sad about. I was not sad about Merle. I was mostly sad about the fact that Daryl was sad. But even that, I was like, okay, get up, get over it. It's fine. He did them all a favor. But I do think that when it's time, it's time. Some people we just gotta let go.
so how do you feel about the whole like what part are you up to right now? Like how far into 5 are you?
Well, well, some terrible things happened.
You tell me what terrible things have happened, because I don't want to ask you and then spoil it.
Oh my God. So there's still so much that happened in season 5 too. Um, they they were at the church and the cannibals come. They kill the cannibals, right?
Oh,
They
of course.
defeat the cannibals, thank God.
One of the most
And
badass moments with the machete, because he tells him that's the
I
one I'm gonna
know
kill
he
you
was.
with.
I know that shit was so cool.
Yeah.
He was like, "I made you a promise." It's like, hell yeah. And the parallels of that and the girl watching it, I can't remember her name, the lesbian, her watching it,
Oh yeah.
and being like, and seeing him do that, the parallel of that and the governor special,
Yeah. She was
like
like,
it's more
God, I
justified because
just.
it's a cannibal, but it's still like the
Yeah.
same thing, kind of. So I kind of saw that, and the look in her face, I was like, oh fuck,
She was like, I
like she's
left that
freaked
guy
out.
because I thought you were better, and you're doing the same thing he was
I
doing.
know, but it's a cannibal. At
Yeah,
least he's doing it to a cannibal,
different
right?
context.
And so yeah, after that, half of their team takes off with the army people, but Daryl and Carol had taken off before that fight because
Mm-hmm.
they saw the car with the cross on it is a
Yeah.
hospital symbol
Uh-huh.
or whatever. So yeah, they saw that car, which is the one that took Beth. So they go to chase it down. So then it starts with them and Beth in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to know this hospital, these people, and basically they take in people and make them servants. And it's basically indentured servitude for whatever you take, which is everything that they bring because you're not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a catch-22 of like you can't leave because you have to pay off your debts, but you're also raking up more debt as you stay there, so you can never leave.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was crazy, and the fucking those disgusting police officers.
Oh. Oh, that
Yeah.
that episode when that episode opens, I'm assuming you finished that entire arc, yeah?
Yes.
When there's the start of one of the episodes and Rick's chasing one in the car and he's
Oh my
like,
God.
"Stop. Just fucking
Well,
stop
that's
moving."
okay.
And he
No, but
plows
that's
into him.
because they fucking ran over Beth and Carol.
Yeah,
They
no,
don't
no,
say it
I
about Beth. They say that Beth like they say that she was fighting a walker or whatever, but she doesn't remember it. And then
yeah,
they
yeah.
hit Carol when she's with Daryl. Okay, saying Carol and Daryl together is really fucking annoying. But when she's with Daryl, they hit her with the car and take her. And that's what they did to Beth.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, that's what they did to Beth. So yeah, he fucking hit him with the car. Thank God.
I just think it was such a wild visual, and he fucking sent that dude flying. It was crazy.
Yeah,
I love that, like, we're just in the badass era of Rick. He's
dude,
just so
he does not give a
unhinged.
fuck.
So, you said that you'd finished it. That means you've seen.
I know. I
Oh
don't
my
want to
god.
talk about it.
So,
It hurts.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like Beth.
I love Beth.
I'm not a big Beth
She's
fan.
so
But, like, the death was so out of nowhere, and the visual of, like, Maggie fucking broke me. And, like, she's
yeah.
just lost her dad. Her sister went fucking missing, and now she's just found her and finally got her back, and boom,
Okay, but
gone.
okay, but she knew that Beth was still alive, and she still decided to go to DC. Fuck right off, okay? I don't care. That
Well, that's a
that
writing
was
issue.
such bullshit. I was like, why is Maggie leaving on this bus when they know that her sister is still alive somewhere in Atlanta? She's leaving?
Yeah, that
It
is
didn't make
wild.
any sense to me. And the person I was watching it with was, well, she's got Glenn now, so it doesn't matter. I'm like, that's such some bullshit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And
That
she should have stayed to help with her sister, because if they had stayed, that's the sad part, is that they went and then it turned out it was a lie, and then Beth is dead when they come back. If they had stayed, probably Beth wouldn't be dead, maybe. But you don't really know that, because I think things still would have went down a similar way with the trade off and everything.
I really
But
think it would have
dude,
made more sense to put that episode going to DC after that arc, because then it makes more sense for her
yeah,
to leave because she's only got Glenn left.
yeah,
So it's
I agree with
just
that.
the restructuring of the episodes, I
Dude,
suppose.
okay, and I'm sorry, but the when Daryl and Beth were together, I don't know, like I said, that was cute. And then she was gone, and I felt sorry for Daryl because he was trying to protect her that whole time. And I was her in the hospital. I really enjoyed her character development in the hospital. I thought that she became like her own person.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was really sad for that too. I kind of wanted her to join the group again because I felt like she learned a lot
I
and
would
she could have been
have.
a better help to the group.
I really soured on her when she just wouldn't stop singing.
I know that was really annoying. And then even
That's
after she's
real
dead, they still
bad.
got her singing.
Yeah, I didn't need
Oh,
any of that, and she was just it felt like that's all she was there for, was like to sing and to babysit Judith for like the entirety
yeah.
of season 3 and the part of 4. So
I'll
then,
be honest with you. That's what it is like growing up as a woman in a house like that. That's basically what you're there for.
well, now she's
Maggie got
gone,
lucky.
popped in the head, and then doesn't Tyrese die when they're traveling back?
No,
When
Tyrese
does
dies when they
Tyrese
go to
die?
Virginia with Noah. Because we meet Noah, who's
Oh
everybody
god,
hates
yeah,
Chris,
I forgot about
the
Noah.
man, the myth, the legend.
Who the fuck are
So
you
they
on
go to
about?
Virginia with him.
Who's
You don't know
Chris?
everybody. You don't know everybody hates Chris.
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh my God. You don't even understand. He's also in Abbott Elementary now.
I have no idea what you're saying.
It's the actor who plays Noah.
I'm try. Okay, I couldn't remember. Oh my god. Okay, I couldn't remember like who fucking Noah even was. Jesus, I had a bit of a mental image, and I'm like, no, I don't think it's that character, but it
Okay.
is. Okay,
It is
I
crazy because he left Beth when he was escaping and left her there. That was nuts.
I'll be honest, not a big fan of his character. Um.
Whatever.
Anyway, Tyrese. Now, you want to know a fun fact?
Hmm.
I've never watched the Tyrese death episode all the way through. I
Are
know
you
the
serious?
governor's in it. I know that he has some hallucinations and he gets bit. No,
Bro. Yeah, he gets bit. It's crazy what happens with him. I don't know. He tries to survive, but yeah, they amputate his arm, and there's like visions with the little girls.
yeah, yeah,
It was crazy because like he's on the ground, he's because he gets bit once, and then there's another zombie that comes in and he fights him off, but he uses the arm that he was just bit to like stop the walker.
Yeah.
So he gets bit a second time in the same arm, and he ends up killing that walker. And then he's just sitting there also hallucinating some more. And he's holding onto his arm, and then the two little girls come and they grab his arm and they hold it out, and then all of a sudden it's Glenn and Rick who are pulling his arm out so Stone can chop his arm at the
Oh my
elbow.
days.
And that shit, like, I don't know, something about it just like itched my brain. It was so crazy. And then yeah, then he bleeds out because he doesn't make it. And they don't have any first aid.
And then,
He bleeds out in the
like,
car.
what part are you up to now then?
That's literally I think the last thing that happened.
Okay. Like,
It's Tyrese died.
you're about to enter, like, a
And
whole
I,
new
dude,
arc. What was wrong?
I don't know. I just really liked Tyrese. He was so cool. And that when what was it? It was after Karen died and they were like going on their run for whatever they had to do, and he's like left behind in the car and he has to get out and fight off, and he fights off a whole horde of walkers and makes it out alive.
Oh yeah, he's a
I thought he was
beast.
gonna die there. He is a beast. He's like a literal tank. It's crazy. And
Hell
when
yeah.
him and Rick fought too, I'm surprised Rick survived that. Because holy shit. I'm really sad that Tyrese is gone. And him with Judith, I don't know. He became one of my favorite characters really quickly.
He definitely does, like, a
He
shit ton of the
never
heavy
made like
lifting.
I don't think I like Carol more now just because she's a badass. I still she rubs me the wrong way sometimes.
I get that, but I think that, like, she's just approaching the whole survival of the fittest thing from, like, a slightly different perspective. I completely get, like, the logic that she was going through with, okay, we need to start killing the infected people during the fucking COVID section. Even though it's morally wrong, like, I understand the, like, how she's gotten to that logic and that viewpoint. If you're
It's just
doing, it's the whole
it's
train
just sad
track
because they
thing.
weren't even dead yet. They were just sick. She killed them and then burned their bodies. Like she didn't wait till they come to the fever. They
Yeah,
didn't have a chance to try and survive. Like that's what's fucked up about it. Because everyone else got a chance, and it didn't even help. Like people still got sick.
I think it's a theme that continues to play with her character as you continue to watch. Is that, like, she's willing to do what it takes to save that group, basically, even if
Yeah.
that means doing something that's maybe morally wrong. Um, yeah, I'm interested to see, especially with the back end of season 5. I'm interested to see, like, what you think of it, because you're about to enter what is known as the Alexandria era, which
Yeah.
is a very interesting vibe for the show. A lot of shit happens at Alexandria. It's one of the most important locations in the entire show.
Oh.
It's
Well, that's
just,
exciting.
yeah, it's like, if you thought the prison was was important, like, Alexandria is like the prison times 10. Um,
Yeah.
and then, like, without saying anything too spoilery, once you get to the Alexandria point, I think the show starts to open up a lot more. As you continue watching, you start to meet, like, new communities and stuff, and more enemies, and it's just very
Of course.
interesting, very very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for you to get to it, and you're getting to, like, some fucking juicy shit. Like, this is peak Walking Dead that we're getting
I
into.
know. I gotta like section it off better next time so I'm not drowning in information. Because this is hard to like go back all those
So
episodes and
much.
not like I don't get it mixed up. Because there's even like I was just thinking about there's this scene with Carl and the preacher in the there's or it's Carl Michonne and the preacher in the church, and he's like telling the preacher to pick a weapon, and he's like he says that he's surprised the church has lasted that long, um and that you don't really get to stay anywhere before everything goes bad. And then Michonne's face hearing him say that, it's like really sad because that's how it's been for him since he was literally a kid, is that
Yeah.
he's not been able to have a home or be safe at all.
Yeah.
Like even when he thinks he's safe, he knows that he's not safe, and that was just like really sad for him. And especially to see this preacher guy who's supposedly doesn't want to use violence. That shit would piss me off as Carl. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be bullying the fuck out of him. Here's this kid in front of you that can do it 10 times better than you, and you're gonna tell me violence isn't necessary.
Yeah.
This kid wouldn't even be alive without violence, unfortunately.
So at the rate you're going, hopefully you'll be well into season 6. Full budget Walking Dead, full high budget
Hell
Walking Dead.
yeah. Hell yeah. I've
And
been enjoying the low budget, like, I don't know.
it's I
The
mean
the special effects are funny, but
everything remains kind of like the same quality and stuff. I mostly mean just like in the sense of scale, you see a lot more walkers.
oh, okay.
And you see a lot more like set pieces basically because
That's
like
cool.
Alexandria, the place that they're going to in the next arc is a town. So it's
Right. That's kind of what I figured.
yeah, it's going to be like and I think they pretty much built like so many fucking sets and shit for like houses and whatever. So and a lot like I said a lot of shit happens at Alexandria multiple
Yeah.
times. So I'm very excited to see what you reckon of it all.
I should be able to get pretty far in next time. By next time.
Are you
So,
ready for the second segment?
yeah.
You've had your Walking Dead.
Are you ready?
I don't know. I have a
Oh, well,
feeling
good luck.
I'm gonna have to do some editing around some of this.
That's fine.
Because we've got video included.
Ooh,
I know. No
fancy.
cat cam this episode, unless you want to include a cat cam. Have you got a cat cam?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
No.
Well, instead we've got our there's puppet photography, I guess, even though it's not alliteration. I can't think puppet pictures. I've got my puppet pictures. Puppet pics. Um
You're sounding like the toy maker.
oh, let's talk about Doctor Who briefly.
Oh God.
You've opened that can of worms because I forgot about that. So, just for context, and we'll go into it in a little bit more detail, like further down the line. I'm sure we'll do like a whole fucking segment, like we just did with The Walking Dead. We'll do like a full fucking 40-minute talk about Doctor Who. But just briefly, we we watched Doctor Who from the 2005 New Who reboot with Christopher Eccleston playing the Ninth Doctor, and we watched not all of the episodes. We had like a bit of a cheat sheet and we skipped some of the filler stuff, but we watched 9, 10, 11, 12, and then we kind of stopped. Because after you've watched that many Doctors, there's a significant burnout and life
Yeah.
catches up with you a bit. And with the revelations of what is now happening in current Doctor Who, with Billy Piper becoming seemingly the Doctor if the show doesn't get cancelled, we decided to do. What was that?
Please don't get canceled.
I thought you were doing your impression of an elephant. You sort of like honked,
No.
but you've
No.
completely thrown me off. We did like a handful of Jodie episodes, didn't we? And then
Yes.
we've just done the free Tenant specials, and Shooty is now our Doctor, and we've yet to start
Yay.
his seasons, but we're gonna watch every single Shooty episode so that we can fully experience him and give like a valid opinion on him, because the internet is very biased for ridiculous reasons.
Yeah.
And what did you? So what did you as? So your let's fucking just keep it bare basics for now. Your favorite Doctor's 9.
Yeah.
Is there right off the top of your head anything like storyline wise that you like the most? Anything that stands out as like something you really enjoyed when it comes to, a plot or anything like that?
Like
Or
any plot or with
yeah,
mine
just
specifically?
no,
Oh.
just any in general. Like what would you
Well,
say is the first thing?
my favorite is when the Daleks come back every time. You can always count on them to be there, and they sound really funny.
Yeah, yeah. Big
So
Dalek fan.
that's like my favorite part. Yeah. Which I don't like the Daleks,
No, no.
but I think that they're hilarious when they show up. So it's nice.
More so just the gimmick of the Daleks.
Yeah. I
Um,
just I love how they sound. That's really the main thing. They roll around and they sound funny.
do you have a favorite companion?
It was probably Rose
Okay.
for a while. I really like Donna though, so she's a strong contender for favorite.
Any of them after 10 or
I liked Billy too.
Billy? Who's Billy?
The one that had the lesbian.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's because you called her Billy and her name's Bill. You threw me off. I'm like, you're
Oh,
just
my
saying
bad.
Rose twice.
Bill.
I like Rose and I like Billy Piper.
Yeah.
No, I also enjoyed Bill, to be fair, and she's got like a really sad death. Uh,
Yeah. Well, her conscience is still alive, as we've been told. So
well, that's
that's
all
all
right
right
then. So, God, you've thrown me right off. I had a question like, it was about the Master. So you're not a you're. I would say you're not a big fan of the Master at this
I'm
point,
not.
but you liked Missy.
I did.
Missy
They
was
should make
cool.
the doctor. I mean, fuck, I did that last time too, didn't I?
Yeah.
They should make the master. I forget that not all the Time Lord doctors. But they should make him a woman all the time.
Yeah, he was really cool as Missy.
Yeah.
Um, and then
I feel like Missy with Jodie Foster would have been cool too. I don't
Jodie
know, maybe
Foster.
I just what is her name?
Jodie Foster. That's the fucking. That's Clarice from Silence of the Lambs. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
wait, what?
Jodie Foster's an entirely different person. You're
What's
on
her
about
name?
Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah, sure. That's her
That's
name.
fucking funny. Holy shit. It's like my Emma
From
Frost, Emma
Silence of the
Stone.
Lambs. Yeah.
Jeez. But no, I do
Oh,
agree. A female master with a female doctor would have been cool. And you like the fugitive doctor, didn't you?
I did.
And for clarification, to piss any Doctor Who fans off, we're both fine with the Timeless Child storyline. So fuck
Yeah.
you guys.
Doesn't
We
really
don't
bother
mind
me all
it.
that much.
And then let me tell you a little fucking story before we move on. So I watched, not telling you the story because you already know it, but whoever decides to listen. I watched the 2023 Regeneration episode with Jodie turning into Tennant and was like, oh, can't wait for Ryan to view this. Ryan's going to be so excited because they love Ten and Tennant's Doctor, and it was so good, and we can revisit him, and I'm going to have to keep this a secret now for so long. 2.5 years I harboured that
Oh my
fucking
God.
secret. 2.5 years. And we're sat there watching it. Pure silence as the reveal happens. I'm like sat there waiting to like for you to say something, and you're just like in the most monotone, dry, deadpan tone. You just go, "What the fuck?" And then you're like, "He's not meant to be there." There was like no excitement, no bewilderment, like nothing. It was
I was not
insane.
expecting him.
I was so upset. I was like, this is going to be the most exciting thing. And there was nothing. Absolutely
Especially after I had
nothing.
heard that Billy Piper was gonna be back, and then I watched this. I'm just like, what? What?
You were like, I'm pretty certain you said, is that like a mistake? He's not meant to be here. And I was like, no, he's the next Doctor. And you're like, no, he's not. You were in pure denial about it. It was incredible.
Well, because that's not who I wanted to see. That's not what I was expecting. I was in shock and low key a little bit of denial.
It was really, really funny.
It didn't make any sense to me.
But you redeemed yourself because I finally found something that made you cry It has
Oh
been
God.
years. You have never cried.
It really? That's what it was?
That
That
is
was
what it
it?
was
Oh my
Wilfred
God.
seeing the Doctor again in the Tennant special
Oh.
finally fucking broke you.
This sweet old man has had to lie to his daughter and
Yeah,
not talk to her about aliens because otherwise she'll die.
yeah,
And then she shows up with the Doctor who's got the same face that he remembers.
yeah.
And he knows now, as soon as he sees him, that he doesn't have to lie. And that's just like, it hit me right in the heart.
It is really well done. I'll give them credit for like the way that they did that. It was really cool, and I'm glad that like we had to see Wilfred in some form. We had to because he was
Yeah.
such a key player to the end of Ten's run.
So true.
Oh.
And then
Okay,
they
so
just,
yeah, he's off shooting moles now.
yeah.
He's off shooting moles
Walls with
with force
force fields.
fields. Right, are you ready for the segment? God.
I
I'm
guess we didn't even talk about the fact that he bi-generated.
No, we'll deep dive into it. We'll get into it. Don't worry about it. We'll loop back
Okay.
around. We've got 22 podcasts to hit. We got to
Yeah.
pad them out. Um, and the Doctor Who talk I was not prepared for. I completely forgot we even watched it today. Okay. So we're gonna have a segment in a couple of episodes because I've got a list of like 3 of them. But I'm gonna show you a video game. And it's going to be a video game that, in my opinion, is, like, underrated in some way. And I'm going to show you the lore of it and the aesthetic of it and tell you about it. And you're going to ask questions if you want to ask questions. And it's just going to be a way to, like... Because I feel like when we're talking about comic books and TV shows and stuff, we always talk about ones that have got, like, shit tons of lore and shit tons of character development and stuff. And video games have that too. And some of them don't get recognized enough for that.
Yeah.
So I've got a list of a couple of games and I'm going to sort of just throw them into episodes where we don't really have like a lot to talk about. But
I will say a lot of people when they play games they focus more on the action parts of it
exactly.
and less on the
And that's
on the
something
actual
that
storyline.
that's something that is quite prevalent with the game that we're going to talk about because it's well known for its combat and its action and the difficulty of it, and a lot of people don't realize that it's actually got a really great story. And a lot of the shit that I'm going to bring up, like with this game and with other games, is how much they need to be turned into TV shows already. Adapt good
Are you
video
sure
games.
after we got Halo?
No.
Not a good
you
thing
have
to bring up right now.
yeah,
Actually.
no, let's not. I had a very in-depth conversation with somebody last night about Halo, and I can't process any more of it. I can't do it.
Okay.
Michael B. Jordan should have played Master Chief, and that's the end of it.
That's so true. Oh my god.
Okay. So let me tell you about this little fucking game, this little fucking gay game called Lies of P. Because, I mean, that's the reason I've gravitated towards it, is because it's got homosexual undercurrents. So, you've seen the setting. It's like a kind of steampunky noir sort of scenario where you are Geppetto's puppet Pinocchio, and the entire city of Krat has been fueled by Geppetto's puppets. Basically, what?
When I saw, because I think at the beginning of the other video, it was him, Geppetto.
Yeah.
When I saw him and I was thinking of his name, I said Arpeggio.
Arpeggio? Who's Arpeggio?
In my head. No one. That's
you just
a type of song.
Made him up.
Yep.
Old Arpeggio, the great puppet maker.
I just thought that was funny because then you just said his real name and I was like, oh, that's not right. That's not right what I thought at all.
So, in like the beginning of the game, you get like this montage, right, of people discovering this element called ergo, and they use ergo to create the puppets. It's kind of like this fuel source. And as you're going through the game, you collect it and you use it like a currency to level up and shit. So, you wake up as seemingly Pinocchio, you're Geppetto's puppet. It's called Lies of P, but they never call you Pinocchio.
Because you don't got the nose.
You don't got the nose.
Well,
And you're tasked by the Blue Fairy to go find Geppetto. So fighting your way through puppets, you find Geppetto. You reunite, and he gives you like this section of areas that you have to kind of travel through and go to push back this puppet revolution because they've taken over the city. And at the same time, there's a disease happening. And so you've got
okay.
like diseased sections of the city that you're not able, like, they're not able to combat this disease because the puppets are uprising, and you've got these areas of the city where the puppets going fucking wild. So as P, or Pinocchio, I don't know what to call him, you go through the different areas. You meet Vanini, who's a character that runs like this massive production warehouse place where he's mass producing puppets. Um,
Hmm.
and he's had to like stop production because of the whole uprising and revolution and
Yeah.
stuff. And Geppetto sends you to confront the king of the puppets, which you saw him in the trailer. He's like the big guy with the sort of mock crown thing, and he reaches
Yeah.
out to. He offers you like a hand, and in the game, Pinocchio swats it away, and he's like, "Fuck you, I don't want whatever you're on." And then you have like this big boss battle with him. So
I
you
don't
go,
know, whatever you're on.
yeah, I don't want whatever you're fucking offering, pal. So you go through like the different sections of the game, and you're trying to find um, basically like some kind of cure for the petrification disease, as well as stopping the puppet revolution. It's all kind of loaded onto you.
So why are
Um,
we on the side of the people and not the puppets?
well, that's the thing, because like instinctively you are Geppetto's puppet, so you're just doing what you're told. But there is kind of like, when I mentioned this game to you for the first time, you said like he's a class traitor. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Like he is going against the grain. There's also throughout the city there's these characters called stalkers, and they wear like animal masks. So there's I have you ever seen the Disney Pinocchio?
I have.
So do you know like the fox and the cat? They're in here,
Yeah.
and they're like the fox is a female stalker, and she's like really agile and quick, and the cat is like her wisecracking little pal.
Huh.
And you've got like opportunities to team with them and fight with them at certain points in the game. There's like a group of stalkers called the Black Rabbit Brotherhood. They're really fucking cool. I sent you a picture of those ones. They've got like the coffin that says liar in it. Um, in the picture that I sent as well, in the bottom left, you can see the Puppet King. He's got like extendable arms.
Yeah.
Like all of the enemies are fucking huge. They're like 10 times the size of you because that's just the style of the game.
That's
Um,
crazy.
so
That's
P
gotta be really
is
scary.
it is fucking terrifying. P is going through, and he's kind of like trying to figure out all of the shit that's going on, and he kind of gets the hint that somebody's invented a cure for the petrification disease. There's a group of alchemists. So he's got to find these alchemists and, get the disease and try and stop it. He meets a man called Simon Manus, who's like the head of these alchemists. He's got this very Gwendolyn Christie looking bodyguard. She's like this huge
Oh.
blonde 10-foot tall woman with a great sword. She's called Luxatia, I think. I'll get you a picture of her. She's brilliant. Absolutely love her. You have to fight her at some point.
So you
Uh,
already know who you fan cast, don't you?
yeah, she's really, really cool. There's when I played through it on YouTube. I think there's a clip on my TikTok of me reacting to seeing her for the first time, and I was like both terrified and attracted. I was like, I didn't really know what to think. I was so confused. But she's really, really cool. But
Ooh.
this Simon Manis guy doesn't want to give you the cure. He ain't interested. He's not bothered. And he ends up going away to an island of alchemists and ends up leaving, and you've got to chase him down, essentially. The robots are kind of like disorganized. The puppets, rather, are kind of disorganized because you take out the Puppet King about like a third of the way through the game. They're still a threat, but they're not like an organized threat. The focus moves to the alchemists, and you get like cameos from Belle from Beauty and the Beast. There's a Frankenstein reference.
Oh,
Towards the end of the game, there's a Dorothy reference for Wizard of Oz. You get like a lot of like lore building in terms of fairy tales and stuff, and it's kind of cool. So
interesting.
you get to the island of the alchemists, and you're shown. This is where like a lot of the heavy lore dropping comes into it. You're shown your backstory because all you know is that you woke up in the train at the start of the game and you're given these orders by the Blue Fairy and then Geppetto. And now that
Hmm.
you're at the island of the alchemists, the Blue Fairy is showing you your origins. And it turns out that you were like a young orphaned kid and you had a best friend called Romeo. And I think both of them end up getting the petrification disease. I'm not quite sure. Maybe just Romeo does. But at some stage, I think P, who ends up being like his real name's Carlo, he ends up getting
Hmm.
injured and like close to death. And the revelation is that you're not a puppet. You're a human that was
What?
saved using puppet pieces. So
Huh.
Geppetto took him in and saved his life using all these puppet parts and stuff and using science and whatever. And on
And then made him
the
a slave.
pretty much he was then just like known as being a puppet. He like as far as you're aware up until that point you were a puppet. And on the other side of the scale, Romeo uh ends up getting the petrification disease and turns into like has to like turn into a puppet to save himself. So you've got like the parallels there. And
Right.
at the end of the game, I'll skip ahead to like a bit of the revelation because it's related to like the origins and shit. But you get a message that's like translated from Romeo, and he's like talking about how you were best friends. He doesn't understand why you're attacking him because he's inside the Puppet King and
Oh my
he's
God.
trying to stop the petrification disease by sending out the puppets to wipe out all of the infected humans. This is when you first encounter the King of Puppets and you enter his opera house. And he's actually showing you spoilers for the end of the game. He's putting on this play with his puppets to show you the truth about Geppetto. But obviously you don't have the context for it. So you've got... There is Carlo in the chair with Geppetto. Because Geppetto's entire goal throughout the game is for you to like harvest ergo from the puppets that you're killing, take your heart from you and put it into his Pinocchio child.
Oh my God.
That's what he wants from you at the end of the game. And you get the choice of like giving him your heart or telling him to piss off, and then you've got to fight Pinocchio.
Huh. So Geppetto's an evil dickhead.
Oh, he's the worst. He's the absolute worst.
This is funny.
And then the entrance of the Puppet King. He's like, "Oh, hello, old gay boy."
So they should be able to communicate, but he can't because he's not actually.
Carlo can't understand. Like, one, he doesn't have his memories.
Oh, he's crying.
Yeah, he's real upset.
His exoskeleton. Fuck ass Bob.
Carlo, I hope you can hear me. I'm Romeo. We grew up together in the Monad Charity House. Remember? We're best friends. I'm doing what I can to fend off both the petrification disease and the alchemists. My puppets and I are taking a stand against death itself. That's why I tried sending you messengers. But you got rid of them all. You're still an unstoppable fellow. I remember you. No reason for us to fight, I suppose. I'm Romeo. We grew up together in the Monad Charity House. Remember? We're best friends. I'm Romeo. We're best friends.
Oh my gosh.
So they were never mad. They were just doing something that you didn't have the context for. And when you go to see the Puppet King, he offers a hand because he thinks that you're still his friend, and you swat it away because you don't know any better. And it's a boss battle that has two stages. So you defeat him when he's in his big Puppet King form, and then it all kind of breaks down and Romeo steps out, but you're not aware of who he is at that point. And in the message at the end of the game, he says like, "Oh, we were best friends. I wish we could still be friends, but it seems like you're too far gone, or it's like a pointless effort. I'm trying to send you all of these messages, which are all these puppets, but you're not understanding any of it. And all he was trying to do was help you the entire time, but you were being
Oh my god.
manipulated by Geppetto,
Oh
because
wow.
Geppetto ended up. So you're not, as far as I'm aware, you're not actually Pinocchio, even though you're
Right.
Geppetto's puppet. Because at the end of the game, once you've defeated Luxatia, whatever her name is, Gwendolyn Christie, and Simon Manus. Simon Manus has got like a whole sort of religious back thing to him. He like touches the fucking hand of God and shit. It's crazy.
Oh great.
But you meet with Geppetto in like the basement of the alchemist's tower, and if you kind of stand up to him and say like, "Look, I don't fucking want anything to do with you," he reveals that he's got his own new puppet, and he's created a puppet out of the remains of his own dead son's corpse. And
Oh.
that is Pinocchio, and it's just this. It is just a bland looking, like 8 foot tall, like I don't know how to even describe it. Just like a modified human, but it's just so
Oh.
bland looking and like a husk of like every other character in the game. Like it's just got no definition to it or anything because it's purely a puppet for him.
Wow.
So you end up battling it, and depending on the game's got a couple of different endings, but depending on like the route that you go down, Carlo beats that version of Pinocchio, and like Geppetto jumps in front of what would be a killing blow because like Pinocchio is a bit of a dickhead and gets the upper hand at one point, but Geppetto tries to redeem himself, even though there's not really any coming back because the whole
Right.
lies of P are really the lies of Geppetto because he just deceives you the entire time.
I've realized that.
In the process, the Blue Fairy, it is revealed at some stage that the Blue Fairy is. I don't. It's very suggestive that it might be your mum.
Hmm.
But regardless of who she is to Carlo, she's basically being held captive. And the stuff that you see of her is like kind of projections and images, and she's actually being held captive by Geppetto. And when you find her, she's like heavily wounded. She's basically like in a vegetative state, and you have to pick whether or not you want to put her out of her misery or
Oh
leave her
Jesus.
there. And if you get the really good ending, you put her out of her misery, and her soul gets put into a puppet, so she's able to live on.
Huh. Well, that's better than what I thought.
I did not get that ending.
Oh.
So I just put her out of her misery, and that were it.
Oh.
um,
Oh, so you have to do like good things before that? Like you have to get like
yeah, so
make like the right
throughout the
decisions?
game, you get little scenarios where you get to pick whether or not you want to lie or tell the truth, and
Oh.
it all kind of contributes to your
And you're a dirty
humanity.
liar.
Well, you've got to be a dirty liar.
Okay.
Lying
Okay.
is good because it shows humanity. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, so Geppetto takes the old stab to the chest. You beat Pinocchio, and obviously, depending on the ending, you leave with your version of Jiminy and the Blue Fairy,
I
and
was gonna ask, where's the cricket?
so he's kind of like he's some sort of invention, and he's like a little AI kind of thing in like a little lantern, and he acts
Huh.
as like your guide throughout the game.
That
Um,
makes sense.
yeah, you can.
That's really cool.
He hasn't got any like physical bonuses really, apart from him providing like as like a little torch, like a little light thing that follows you around.
Hmm.
Um, but he is like your exposition person. He'll like provide little bits of information and stuff. So yeah,
That's exactly what I thought he was gonna do.
you end up.
You just didn't mention it, so I was like, where
I've kind of
was
forgot
he?
about him until then.
That's
So
funny.
earlier in the game, you meet a guy called Giangio, I think his name is. I think that's how you pronounce it. And he's like this merchant guy that's looking for like a fucking special apple or some shit. I can't really remember. He's just this seemingly unassuming sort of fellow. And at the end of the game, you get a nice end credit scene, of course. And it's revealed that he's like, more than he's making out to be. He's called Paracelsus, and I don't know if that name has like significance outside of it. Yeah, a Swiss physician, alchemist, a lay theologian, I don't know what that means, and a philosopher. Okay. This is
Okay.
who he's based off of, I guess. Um, and it's revealed that he's like, okay, I met the puppet, I met this Pinocchio Carlo dude. There are other people that are significant like him, and we cut to some ruby slippers walking along like a
Oh,
rooftop, and the tease that the next game that they do will be like a Wizard of Oz themed game in the same universe, which is very exciting.
wow. Dude, Wizard of Oz is blah blah blah. Wizard of Oz is so cool.
Yeah, there's so much to do with the Wizard of Oz. But yeah, that
No.
is basically Lies of P without me like going into intense amounts of detail because there's a lot like dotted out in between. There's like places that you go and little characters and interactions and shit, but that's like the main bullet points of it. Um and yeah, I think it's a very underrated game that very rarely gets its flowers. And when people say that it's good, for some reason there's a lot of like dismissal about it. I think because it's got the Pinocchio gimmick like tacked onto it, people think like, "Oh, I wouldn't like something with Pinocchio. I've never even seen that film and blah blah blah." But yeah, that
That
is
sounds really. Honestly, I'm not
Lies
gonna
of
lie. The
P.
Wizard of Oz game sounds cooler than this
Oh yeah,
one. I'm more interested in that one,
the excitement for
but
that is like through the fucking roof. I cannot wait.
I get that.
But when I said like at the beginning, I feel like it's one of those games that would make for a great TV show.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, that seems accurate. I would watch that.
Give it to HBO. Give me a fucking just one season of it'll do.
Do not give it to Paramount Plus.
Do not give
Do
it to
not give it
Paramount.
to
Don't give it
Paramount
to
Plus.
fucking Peacock. Don't give it to. You can give it to Amazon if you want to give it to
We
Amazon.
want budget.
Yeah, we need budget behind our TV shows, please, and good casting.
I could
I
please.
was gonna do a fan cast for it and everything,
Oh wow.
but
That'd be funny.
I'm not gonna go that deep into it. But I do think it's a really, really great game, and if you can't play difficult games, because it's one of the hardest games I've ever played in my life. If you can't play difficult games, then watch it. This is a message to
Yeah.
you and to anybody listening. Go watch somebody play it.
Go
I
watch.
conveniently
Go.
have a playthrough of it.
Exactly. I was gonna say, go watch Oliver play it, because that'll be the best playthrough you've seen.
So there we go. That's our second episode done. The next episode will have more comic booky Marvel stuff in it, because I'll go out of my way to at least read some comics. God.
Uh,
And
I
I'm
guess
sure
I can do that too.
I'm sure
I
something will
guess.
happen as well, like fucking I don't know, maybe Mark Ruffalo will post a tribute to the Hulk like Chris Hemsworth
Oh my
did.
god.
And we'll
I
have
can't believe
we'll
I
have that
can't
to
believe
talk
he would
about.
do that.